Hey guys, welcome to my vlog 2.0, coming to you from quarantine. This is our second week and it's gonna be a great one. We're gonna do a workout vlog, but we can't do it alone. Gotta get my friend Alan, come on back. Get ready, Alan. Hey Alan, it's time to work out. Come in. Thanks for coming, Alan. Okay, first exercise we're gonna do is called greeting stretch. So, as you can see, I have a hello sign, and you go, hello, hello. Switch it up, both legs. Hello, hello. Keeps you nice and stretched, also stretches your vocal cords. All right, this way. Workout number 2 is called Superman cleaning. Lay down on a nice dirty floor, and you go up, spray, spray, wipe, switch hands, up, spray, wipe. Your parents are gonna be glad about this one. This way, friends. Okay, the third workout is called plant squatting. Find a nice house plant. I have many. If you want some, you can't come here, so it doesn't matter. And you squat with the plant. Squat with the plant. I think it's good for your legs. Okay, last but not least, as many of you are also working on your embroidery, I have too. This is called embroidery bicep curl. You go with this. Yeah, it's all in the elbow. I can hear my shoulder cracking, can you? It's pretty fun. Well, woof, I'm out of breath. So that's our workout vlog for today. Thank you to Alan for coming. He's so sweet. I can't wait for next week. Don't know what we're gonna do, but it's gonna be great. Thanks for coming and subscribe below. Feel free to, use this tutorial at home, but make sure to tag me because it's me.
What's up everyone and welcome to Westwood Students Online. We are so happy that you are choosing to spend your Wednesday evening with us. My name is Matt Velasco. I lead our high school ministry at the Chanhassen campus, and I personally just want to let you know how happy I am that you are choosing to spend your Wednesday with us. I promise you it's going to be worth it. We're going to be led in worship by Kalu. We're going to hear a message from Charlie, and here in a couple of moments we're going to hear 2 stories from students, a middle school student and a high school student, about what they are doing during quarantine to grow closer to God. And so get ready for an awesome night. We cannot wait to spend it with you. Check out these stories.
Hi Westwood students, I'm Paige. I'm a senior at Chaska High School. My hair's wet right now because I went swimming in my pool. It's 50 degrees out, but of course we still swim, we tan, we're doing it. But yeah, I'm an extrovert at heart. So my quarantine, I've just been trying to fill my time with lots of things and stay busy. But most of all, having all this time to myself, it's been a lot of reflecting and time where I can truly just sit down and spend time with God, and whether that's just in prayer or just in the Word, or what I've been finding is that being an extrovert, and God made us for community. He wants us to be with people. So I've been doing a lot of online Bible studies and just trying to stay interactive with other Christians and getting through this quarantine together and through this season. But yeah, so I encourage you just to continue to find groups and find communities, whether that's on Zoom or FaceTime or whatever. But yeah.
Hey Westwood students, during this quarantine time, I've been playing lots of video games, getting tons of sleep, having some great family bonding time, and enjoying the great weather. God has been teaching me a few things. I have just been grateful for all that I have. I've had a moment just to step back and just see how well things are. You don't really get to do that when we have work, school, sports, all of that, but I've really just had time just to step back, look at all I have, and thank the Lord.
Well, Ethan and Paige, let me just tell you personally, I am so thankful that you are a part of our ministries. You make us better, and let me tell you, I'm so proud of you for what you have been doing during this time. I promise you, you're not going to regret it. Well, here in a couple of moments, Callie's going to lead us in worship, and she has an awesome challenge for you. And then Charlie is going to deliver a message tonight that will be good for your soul. So hear these words from Callie as she helps our hearts get ready for worship.
Hey Westwood students, so glad that you're tuning in tonight. My name is Callie, and in just a moment we're going to worship together. But before we do, I just encourage you to find a spot in your house or wherever you are where you can just be free of distraction and fully soak in God's presence. Psalm 63 helps us to fix our gaze on Christ and just to realign our hearts. So I'm going to read it, and as I do, I just encourage you to close your eyes and just take this in and just redirect your focus. It says, "O God, you are my God. Earnestly I seek you. My soul thirsts for you. My flesh faints for you as in a dry and weary land where there is no water. So I've looked upon you in this sanctuary, beholding your power and glory. Because your steadfast love is better than life, my lips will praise you. So I will bless you as long as I live. In your name, I will lift up my hands." And David continues to go through this psalm, but friends, let's just be people who will give ourselves wholeheartedly to the Lord. And that we'd be people who would worship in spirit and in truth. And maybe for some of us, it's been a challenge to overcome the discomfort of raising our hands or bowing before the Lord. But I just encourage you, if you're in that spot, wherever you are, where you can just be alone, taking in God's presence, just give him everything you've got. Just not hold back and to just surrender yourself to him tonight. So with that being said, let's just worship him together. Let's sing it out and just praise the King of Kings, the one who is so worthy of all of our worship.
Worthy of every song we could ever sing, worthy of all the praise we could ever bring, worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. Worthy of every breath we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes in wonder. Show me who you are and fill me with your heart and lead me in your love to those around me. Jesus, the name above every other name. Jesus, the only one who could ever save. You are worthy of every breath that we could ever breathe. We live for you. Oh, we live for you. Holy, there is no one like you. There is none beside you. Open up my eyes. You are here, moving in our midst. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, working in this place. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, touching every heart. I worship you. I worship you. You are here, healing every life. I worship you. I worship you. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. You are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 Oh yes, that is who you are. 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 Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop, you never stop working. Even when I don't see it, you're working. Even when I don't feel it, you're working. You never stop, you never stop working. You never stop. Oh, you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. Oh yes, you are waymaker, miracle worker, promise keeper, light in the darkness. My God, that is who you are. 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 So God, we thank you that you are the miracle worker. You are the one who is all powerful. God, and you reign over everything in our life. So we don't have to fear. Because you are the way maker. You set our path straight. Even when things in life seem chaos. God, we thank you that you're all powerful. And we don't have to fear. We thank you, Lord. Amen.
Hey everyone, welcome to Westwood Students Online. My name is Charlie and I'm the student ministry guy over at Westwood Bushlake, and I'm super excited to be here tonight. We've been going through a series called The Unstoppable Church, and tonight we're talking specifically about how this unstoppable church is going to grow and how it's growing, even today, even right now during this crazy time. But before we get into it, I kind of right away when I started thinking about this and praying about this, I thought of this trip that I went on this last summer, and it was the Colorado trip, and it was super fun. I definitely encourage you to go on it if you get the chance. But during this trip, the cool thing was it was amazing to see how this group of 8th and 9th graders who kind of didn't really know each other at first, over the week became like best friends. It was amazing to see how they all kind of came together, whether it be like in service or as they worshiped or prayed together, whatever it may be, they really became united. They became this group of believers who were all following Jesus and pursuing him. And I was super encouraged by that trip. I loved seeing that happen. And it reminded me a lot of times in my life where that's happened to me. But that's what we're going to be talking tonight is this idea of growth, of how the church comes together, how a group of people who maybe don't really know each other at first become united, become one, and then are all pursuing Jesus. And so we're talking about growth, and we're going to be talking a little bit specifically more about this word fellowship. And so I'm going to read a Bible verse real quick. It's from Acts 2:42. And before I do though, let me just tell you a little bit about what's going on here. So there's this group of early believers, of early Christians who saw everything that Jesus did and were following him. And then Jesus, he ascends, and then all these believers are still here, and they kind of build this little church, right? They become a group of believers, and they're all worshiping together, they're all doing certain things together. And so there's this really cool description in Acts chapter 2, and we're going to see what these early believers were really doing right off the bat. And so let me read Acts chapter 2. This is verse 42. It says, "They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and to fellowship, to the breaking of bread and to prayer." Now, so basically they devoted themselves to fellowship. And that's really kind of a word that we don't use like in everyday language. It's not like, oh yeah, fellowship this, fellowship that. No, it's like we don't really use it. So we maybe don't really know what it means. So I looked up the definition, and the definition online, it basically said that fellowship is a friendly association, especially with people who share one's interests. And so right away I thought, oh wow, that's actually kind of a really cool definition, because if we think about the early church, what was their shared interest? What were they all really trying to do? What were they all really interested in? And what I realized is that it's Jesus, right? Their shared interest was Jesus. Jesus was everything to them. And so everything they did flowed out of who they knew Jesus to be and who he was in their lives. And so they kind of came together around this shared interest of Jesus, and they were binded together, they're united. And I think that's really what fellowship is. Fellowship is being united together around the shared interest of Jesus. And right away, as I was thinking about this, I thought actually about meerkats. And you might be like, meerkats? Like, that's kind of random and strange. But meerkats are these like small kind of like social animals, and they're really cool because they all work together. They kind of have this like group, they group up and they work together to survive. So their shared interests, or what they're trying to do, is really to survive and to flourish as a group, right? And so they'll like sometimes send out one of the meerkats will just like be kind of standing up and like looking out for prey. Others of the meerkats will be like watching the young ones, and then like some of them will be like foraging, like finding food. But they're all working together, they're all doing different things around this one goal. And that's really, I think, what fellowship is all about. Like in the church, we're all striving after Jesus, we're all following after him, and he's our one goal, but we're all doing it together. We're doing it alongside each other, maybe doing different things, but we're all in it together. And so that's really what I kind of think this idea of fellowship is all about. And so my encouragement to you guys is, if you don't feel like you're a part of a fellowship or a part of a group yet who's all loving Jesus and following him, I want to encourage you to get a part of one, right? I think you could take just one simple step. You could text your small group leader. You could text a friend in your group. You could text me, Lucas, or Matt, or someone. You could reach out. You can give someone a call. Give someone, I don't know, a DM. I'm not sure, but do something, right? Because I think that as we pursue fellowship, growth is going to happen, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about this unstoppable church and how it's growing, and a massive part of that growth comes from fellowship. It comes from being united, being together as believers. And so I want to encourage you to pursue that fellowship. But I also want to look really quickly at why exactly that will grow, right? So as we're part of this group of believers, as we're part of this fellowship, why are we going to grow? And what's that going to look like? Well, I thought of Colossians 3, verse 16. Let me just read the passage real quick so you can follow along. It says, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly, teaching and admonishing one another in all wisdom, singing psalms and hymns and spiritual songs with thankfulness in your hearts to God." Okay, I love that verse, but I want to just focus on a few words. So one word that he used there that I thought was really important was the word teaching, right? So he says we're going to be teaching one another. So one aspect of us growing is that we're going to be teaching one another more and more about Jesus. So as you get involved in a group, as you get involved in this fellowship, or as you invite others into it, there's going to be this teaching aspect involved where we're saying, hey, look who he is. Look at what he's done for us on the cross. Look at how he's provided for me recently in whatever life stage that we're at. I think really that this deeper knowledge of Jesus will result in a deeper relationship with him. And so that's one big part of growing is this idea of teaching one another. But another aspect of growing is being united to other believers. And he uses the words, the language of one another. I think that little phrase is super important, right? One another. It's not like we're like these Rambo Christians, right? Going off into the world just like me against the world and no one else matters. Like I'm gonna, do everything and tell everyone about Jesus, right? But it's not like that, right? We're not on our own. We're actually a part of a group where we have one another to stand side by side with each other, and to encourage one another to love Jesus, to point each other to Jesus, to serve together, serve the world, and love others. And so, okay, so the first aspect was we're going to be teaching one another about Jesus. The second aspect is we're going to be united to each other. And then the third aspect of growth is we're going to be worshiping alongside each other, right? In this verse, he talks about the fact that we're going to be singing and praising God together. And worship is like everything we do as we relate to God and in our lives, right? So you can worship by yourself. Just open up your Bible, read a verse, pray to God, and maybe even, sing a song. Maybe grab a good worship song. But really, the cool thing about this verse is that it's kind of encouraging us, like, hey, part of worship is singing, right? And singing together as a group. And that's why I love kind of like this virtual online stuff. I think it's kind of a little strange to worship, but on our own. But the cool thing is to know that everyone's worshiping at the same time in their homes. That is so encouraging. To know that we're all worshiping the one God, the one true God together, united. And that's still happening today. And so this is really what growth looks like as we're growing together in fellowship. And I think as I thought more about this, I realized that this fellowship, it's really cool, right? It's really awesome to behold. And so when other people see it, they're like, oh, I kind of want to be a part of that. Like, they love one another, they encourage one another, they're doing all these things together, and it's attractive, it looks good. They want to be a part of it because it's a good and beautiful thing that Jesus has created and made. And so really it kind of reminds me of this idea of a snow cone stand, like in a super hot day in like the Minnesota State Fair, right? If you're walking through the Minnesota State Fair and it's super hot, and you're seeing all these different types of food and you're like, I don't really want that, I don't want this, like that doesn't sound good. But then you see the snow cone stand and you're like, yes, that's it, like that's what I want. Because it's so attractive and it looks so good because it's gonna cool you down, it's gonna take away the heat for a little bit. And really that's kind of what the church is. They're like the snow cone stand, right? And we're as people in the church, as Christians, as believers, we're called to invite others to be like, hey, look at what Jesus has done. Look at what he's doing in us and through us. Come be a part of it. It's so good. It's so attractive. And it pulls people in. And so what I want to encourage you tonight with is as we're growing together in fellowship and as we're inviting people into that fellowship, I just want you to think of maybe one person that you can, shoot a text to and be like, hey, join me this next Wednesday night. Like, let's watch this YouTube and then we'll hop in Google Hangouts or whatever it may be afterwards. So two encouragements tonight for you guys. First, grow together. grow towards Jesus together. We're in it together. Second is invite other people into that growth, right? Invite people into the fellowship. And so I'm gonna pray for us before we head off to small groups. Thank you so much. Let me just pray for us. Lord, thank you so much for all that you've done in us and through us. I pray that you would just bring us into that fellowship, bring us into a group of believers who love you and are pursuing you. Lord, you're so good to us. Pray that the rest of tonight would go very well in our small groups, and pray that the rest of this week would go well as well. In Jesus' name, amen.
Well, thank you so much for worshiping with us tonight. It's been incredible. We are so excited for everything that's going to happen in small groups. So head on over there. If you don't have a small group, wait a couple of seconds. You're going to see some information on the screen. You can send either me or Lucas an email, and we will get you plugged into one right now. We are waiting for your emails eagerly. I love all of you. Go to small groups. You're the best. You're beautiful. Look in the mirror. Tell yourself you're beautiful because you are. I love you. Bye.
Yeah, I got ants in my pants, so I dance like I'm crazy. Right, hit the left, now go crazy. Won't hop too hard, make it wavy. Jesus, my Lord, yeah, he saved me. Slide it, bust down, riot. Fold my hands together, I pray when I'm quiet. Two-piece to my enemies, you know they stay silent. Throw it, catch it. I thought I'd catch it. Lil' mom, pull me to the block, what's happening? Not Claude, is you really a Christian when you rapping? Man, I'm a whole pastor, regardless, it's poppin'. I got big fans. I got big hands. Don't mind big pants when I dance. Billie Jean. Shawty wanna dance to the Billie Jean. Short, straight shirt and I throw on my slimmy jean. My girl really be a beauty queen. I got ants in my pants, so I dance like I'm crazy. Right, hit the left, now go crazy. Won't hop too hard, make it